Nebraska is probably really pissed that they voted for Trump now, huh? Because everybody that's like, no, Medicaid's not going to close clinics and Medicaid's not going to close hospitals. Ask Nebraska how one of their clinics is now being closed. Why, you might ask? Because of Medicaid cuts. Because of Medicaid cuts. And that's just the first to downfall publicly. Imagine all the small ones that's going to close without the public knowing. Listen, I'm trying to tell you, it is about to get real ugly in America. Y'all just wait and see all you nurses and CNAs and LPNs and doctors. Yeah, you might want to go look for a new job because you're about to get terminated. Thanks to Trump. Go thank your president.
Hello guys, and welcome to the Joe Report, where we get an outsider's view with an insider's clarity. Let's get into it.
Nebraska girl, what's going on? So I wanted to be a little bit nosy, and I saw this news article that Nebraska, this one county in southwest Nebraska, is closing due to Medicaid cut. It's located in McCook County, which is also a part of Red Willow. Essentially, the CEO of the community hospital said, unfortunately, the current financial environment driven by anticipated federal budget cuts to Medicaid has made it impossible for us to continue operating all of our services, many of which have faced significant challenges for years. The Nebraska Hospital Association has been pushing back against the Medicaid cuts in the One Big Beautiful Bill as it's being considered in Congress. Mind you, Hakeem Jeffries is still currently debating this bill on the floor. Actually, not even debating yet. I think he's still in the middle of his miracle minute. So I decided to head over to Nebraska's general elections website, because everything is public information. And I did a little bit of digging. This is for Red Willow / McCook, right? This is how many registered voters they had. This is for the November 5th, 2024 election. This is from their county website, right? Look at who won. Look at the first line. My head is right here. You see it. 83% of the population of that county voted for Trump and Vance. And now their local community hospital will have to shut down. I keep asking you guys, if he steals from you, are you ready to lay him out? Because Fox told you what's going on. 16 of the elected GOP officials told you guys what's going on. Do they want to pass? Absolutely not. Are they going to pass? Of course, because they're up his ass. Unless you could stop them. They're your elected officials. They work for you, right? You going to lay down and take it? I mean, clearly you are. You already lost the hospital.
And it's pretty soon, a lot of you Trump voters, you're not going to have a lot of things that you had it when 2025 started out. You're not going to have a lot of things that you had before you voted for Donald Trump on November 5th, 2024. Particularly one state that's being bitch slapped is Nebraska. You know, it was announced right after Trump took office, and they canceled the subsidies to all those farmers in Nebraska, and they were all going belly up, and they were predicting that Nebraska would be bankrupt in 6 months. I'm talking to you guys specifically. There's another bit of news I want to share with you on this happy 4th of July day. I just heard word that one of y'all remaining hospitals has just announced that they're closing. Yeah, Nebraska, you're losing your hospitals too. See, after that bill was signed, and in that bill, everyone except for Trump voters know that they're cutting the Medicaid and Medicare. And with that being cut, that's going to cause a lot of hospitals to close. And yours in Nebraska has already announced that they're closing. So now, when your farmers are already belly up, you should be going bankrupt right about now. Maybe next month. Because 6 months from January, yeah, that's about July, August. Okay. So you should be going bankrupt pretty soon as well. And now they're closing your hospitals down. So, when y'all have these medical emergencies, you won't have a hospital to go to.
And it begins. A rural hospital in Nebraska closed, citing the upcoming bill that's going to cut health care for millions. And guess who won Nebraska in the 2024 election? Trump. So it's already hurting his supporters. It's like watching cows lining up to go to the slaughterhouse and them applauding it. Like, Bro, make it make sense. It's crazy because, like, as long as they think it's gonna hurt the others, they're okay with it. Oh, what the, like, I'm lost for words. I'm lost for words.
A rural hospital just shut down its doors for good in Nebraska. A once virtual lifeline for an entire community is gone. This is a clear FAFO moment because voters in red states like Nebraska are finally experiencing what happens when you blindly support policies that sound nice on paper but are built on cruelty and cuts. The big beautiful bill passed under DT has gotten Medicaid and healthcare programs, especially in rural communities. The same DT that Nebraska overwhelmingly supported at the polls. Before we proceed, all credit goes to the creators of these videos. Let's watch a few more reactions and I'll come back with my final commentary.
So Nebraska can't catch a break, right? So it was reported earlier this year that it was quite possible that the state could go bankrupt, right? Because of the tariffs and the farmers not being able to sell their goods. Well, now it's being reported since the passage of that big bad bill that they're about to start closing rural hospitals. In one particular county, in Webster County in Nebraska, they are closing several rural hospitals, and it's going to impact about 3,000 people. But the saddest part of that is it's not only just the rural hospital, it's also the rural nursing home that's tied to those hospitals. So Mima and Pawpaw ain't gonna have nowhere to live. And again, this is another county that voted overwhelmingly for syphilitic Sid. They anticipate that with the closure, they're not gonna have hospitals. Nurses and doctors are already starting to quit so that they can go and find other work. So they're operating under a shortage while having to find places to put these people, in particular, the elderly that are in these nursing homes.
Nebraska hospital is already closing due to the impending Medicaid cuts. This news comes to us from Nebraska Public Media. It says Southwest Nebraska Hospital announces plans to close, blames uncertainty over funding. The uncertainty over federal Medicaid funding appears to have claimed its first victim in Nebraska. Community Hospital in McCook announced Wednesday that it will close Curtis Medical Center in Curtis, winding down its operations and services over the next several months. The CEO of Community Hospital said that unfortunately this current financial environment driven by anticipated federal budget cuts to Medicaid has made it impossible for us to continue operating all of our services, many of which have faced significant financial challenges for years. Earlier this week, during a Zoom meeting put on by a multi-state organization, United Today, Stronger Tomorrow, officials estimated that up to 6 Nebraska hospitals could be forced to close if the bill passes. And we all know that bill just passed recently. And they say they have currently 6 hospitals that they feel are in a critical financial state, 3 of which are impending kind of closure and a conversion over to the rural emergency hospital model. Now, it is important to point out that Nebraska is extremely red. I don't know if they realize, but when you have towns of only 1,000 people, you can't afford to have a fully functioning hospital without somebody subsidizing it for you. So, I hate to say this, but they voted for this.
A lot of folks don't realize it's a federal mandate. If I'm not mistaken, please feel free to correct me in the comments, but I believe most nursing homes have to have a certain number of beds to accommodate Medicaid patients, because all of that is eligibility based on income. So therefore, if you are one of those low wage or low earners and didn't, make a lot of money and you didn't pay a lot into Social Security, you may have Medicare, but Medicare doesn't pay for nursing homes. At least not that I know of. If I'm wrong, I'm open to the correction. But I just, it's like we're literally only 6 months in, and it's been one breaking news alert after another since syphilitic Sid took office. We've not had one day where there hasn't been some form of breaking news that hasn't been bad news. So I get it. All MAGA All y'all heard was he was going to deport people and he was going to build alligator Alcatraz, and y'all thought y'all was going to buy tickets and eat popcorn to watch immigrants fight off alligators, fight each other. I don't know. Meanwhile, who about to go get me mom and papa when they don't have any place to live? Just something to think about.
Now, to be fair, most Nebraskans didn't personally consign the cats, but they did vote for DT twice and cheered for his vision of a smaller government and slashed federal programs. And that's exactly what they got. The big beautiful bill was a product of DT's agenda, written to shrink federal spending on things he never cared about, like healthcare for poor and rural folks. His administration has pushed it through under the guise of efficiency, and now rural Americans, especially in red states, are paying the price. The Nebraska hospital that just shut down its doors was a critical access hospital, serving as the only healthcare providers for miles. It was also a major employer, keeping dozens of local families afloat. Now it's gone, just like that. The reason? Medicaid funding has been slashed, and small hospitals like this simply can't survive. Nebraska is a deep red state, deeply loyal to DT, a place where many believe that his policies would only hurt other people, maybe immigrants, maybe folks in the cities, maybe people on welfare, but not them, never them. But because rural hospitals depend on Medicaid, when that money disappears, so do the doctors and the nurses. There's a painful irony here. Some of the loudest voices now experiencing anger and confusion are the same ones who cheered when DT promised to cut spending. They thought government healthcare was socialism. They believed Medicaid was only for lazy people, and now they're finding out that a lot of their neighbors, hardworking farmers, elderly veterans, single moms, rely on that very system to survive. But now it's too late, and there's no one left to blame but themselves. This is the cost of political blindness. When you prioritize slogans over substance, personalities over policies, you end up with real-life consequences. You end up with people dying from preventable conditions because the nearest hospital shut down. You end up with nurses losing their jobs and entire communities thrown into chaos. It's time folks in places like Nebraska take a long, hard look in the mirror, because this didn't have to happen. Rural America deserves good healthcare, but when you vote for someone who brags about tearing down the very programs that keep you alive, what did you expect? DT never hid his agenda. He made it clear. The big beautiful bill was just the follow-through on his promises, and now the consequences are real, and they're local. The truth is, rural communities are now learning the hard way what many tried to warn them about. So what do you all think? Do you think red state voters will finally wake up? Or will it take even more losses before they see the truth? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I would love to keep this discussion going. Otherwise, that's it from me. I also have a playlist about Black Americans' hilarious reactions to a few topics. And if you enjoy such kind of content, please click up here and enjoy. Also, consider subscribing, liking and sharing because it helps me grow my channel and YouTube recommend this video to a wider audience. But for now, thank you so much for watching. And until the next time, the Joy Report out.